Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We got some news about the Azov-style fighters, some of them from the Azov battalion who were captured by, who surrendered and taken into custody by first by the separatist forces together with the Russians and the most important commanders of the Azov battalion removed from the occupied territories and taken to Russia for further investigations. Now we find that um, the European court is upset about that, but doesn't really matter because Russia does whatever it wants with these guys since they were kicked out of all those organizations of the human rights and all that. All right, too bright. Let's see here. So this article comes from Reuters from June 30th, 2022, and this is the title. Some captured Azov fighters will face trial, Putin ally says. So some captured members of Ukraine Azov Regiment will face trial, the Speaker of Russia's lower house of parliament said on Thursday, a day after Russia's top court postponed a decision on whether to brand the unit as a terrorist entity. And we have here Vyacheslav Volodin, an ally of President Vladimir Putin. What do you mean? He has to be an enemy? What are you guys? Is unbelievable. All right, the Speaker of the House. What is supposed to be an enemy of Putin, or what do you expect? It's like you have Pelosi being the enemy of the president, only United States, because you got other stuff here going on. So anyway, Volodin said that Russia would carry out a substantial investigation into every member of Azov battalion to find out who was involved in what. Well, that's a basic procedure, nothing that would be out of the ordinary unless you do not want those guys to fall under the rule of law and you make all kind of appeals. Those who are determined to have blood on their hands will face trial, the State Duma speaker said in a post on Telegram. The Azov, now we don't want to tell us for cover up. Reuters is going to cover it. We have no, going to tell us what actually those Azov battalion fighters are angels. The Azov Regiment, part of the Ukraine National Guard, was founded in 2014 as one of many volunteer militias to fight pro-Russian separatists in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region. Its fighters were fated as national heroes for defying Russian forces who laid siege on the city of Mariupol for weeks. The militia originally emerged from a political organization that championed white nationalist far-right idea. They just sprang out of it, but they just shed it, like a snake. Kiev said it has been reformed away from its origins and that it has nothing to do with politics. Russia says it's still made up of dangerous far-right neo-Nazis and made destroying the unit a war aim. Some 43 members of the regiment were released on Wednesday in a prisoner exchange between Russia and Ukraine, raising hopes in Kiev that Russia could be prepared to release more of the fighters. After they check them in their butts and everywhere else, and they squeeze them like this and get the last drop of information, plus the ones that they pour into them and then drop again. So Volodin said that Wednesday exchange concerned mainly the seriously wounded and those unable to participate in hostilities. All right. Russia Defense Ministry said on Thursday that more than 6,000 Ukrainian servicemen have been captured or surrendered since the start of the conflict. On Wednesday, Russia's Supreme Court postponed for the second time a hearing on whether to designate the Azov Regiment as a terrorist entity, a step that could pave the way for trials. Well, they probably interrogate those guys, get the information, make them confess, and then, based on that, they're still here. That's probably going to do. All right, then we go here that relatives of the Ukrainian fighters have appealed for their rights to be protected under the 1949 Geneva Conventions, which state that prisoners of war should be humanely treated and released and repatriated without delay after active hostilities cease. We have reports that the Russian amphibious assault ship was destroyed. That's a different story. The problem here is that these guys will not let them go until they will be, as I said, not only squeezed of information, they will be told what to say. I said that many times before, and based on that, probably they will say, see, this is their testimonies. They reveal the fact that they self-incriminate, the Azov battalion participants, fighters, however, prisoners, and therefore we have to designate as the Azov battalion a terrorist organization or whatever they want to do it. But probably they right now wait to see what's going on the other side of the fence and see how those guys, the other guys, are treating their prisoners of war, and based on that, they will probably act accordingly. What I saw about the Russians, on the Russians' behaviors, is that they react. They react. They do not initiate stuff. They are not proactive. They are retroactive. And it's not. This is a generality. A generalization is not, always like that. But most of the time, I saw that the Russians are applying really the art of war, and the principle of Zen, of not revealing your position by attacking, but rather wait and wait for the enemy to show his position, and therefore you react according to how you trained yourself, in this case how you trained your army, and tactical maneuvers to counter their initial attack, which reveals their positions. And I saw this in many instances when the Russians countered, and with the sanctions, with the embassy personnel that were kicked out from other countries, they kicked the other ones out by naming certain streets or markets after the Western countries and some European countries changed the names of some streets and markets where the Russian embassy was located. So then they did the same thing in Moscow. I have a different article that I have to make. It's embarrassing for us, but some people will hail it how we kick the Russians in the teeth without realizing that actually we just take a dump on our civilization. So nevertheless, they will be all investigated and checked and interrogated and all that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.